Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Tier 8 American light tank, the M41 Bulldog. Now I did a video on it 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and I said that it wasn't my cup of tea, and it's not really, to be honest. And I wouldn't say any of the Bulldogs are really my cup of tea, because I'm not a fan of the M41 Brazil, although that has its own issues. It really does have its own issues. I'm not too much of a fan of the Hurling Hunt or the M4190, and that's just because the gun's quite derpy and it's got the same issues that this Bulldog has, in the fact that it's fat. And the Hurling Hunt / M4190 is also a bit more sluggish in terms of the mobility compared to the Bulldog and the Hurling Hunt, which is not something I, particularly mind about this tank or the M41 Brazil, because both tanks are pretty much the same in that they're both really quick. It's more just how fat the Bulldog is that's my problem, and my problem with the Hurling Hunt is how it's sluggish and the fact that it's fat. I do prefer tanks that are a bit smaller, a bit lower to the ground. I love the Aguila. The Aguila is a fantastic light tank. I think the other issue as well is the fact that I think for the Hurling Hunt, the reason I don't like the Hurling Hunt that much is because it's fat and easy to hit. It is sluggish, and obviously coupled with how fat it is, that's annoying. But I do like the 240 Alpha gun, even if it is a bit derpy, and that's why I like the Aguila, because the Aguila is just sort of the better version of it in terms of how the gun is, the shell velocity, everything, all that sort of stuff. So I'm not a fan with the Bulldog because of the fact that it only hits for like 150, which I'd prefer the harder hitting guns, which I'll always say I do prefer the harder hitting guns than a gun that's 150 damage. But like I say, it doesn't mean that it's a bad tank. It doesn't mean they all are bad tanks. I question the Brazil, because the Brazil's got its issues in the fact that it's got 2 rounds in the HEP with 102 pen, which you can use, but it's just dodgy as all hell. It's got great reload if you can pen those shots, but yeah. And 250 heat, which again, it's a fantastic amount of penetration, but the shell velocity is not that great on them. And the fact that it's heat, which is it's heat and it's a premium round too, which means you just don't make money. It's a premium tank. You just don't make money if you want to pen things with it, and it's heat. So a lot of tanks that you come up against, you'll end up just shooting them in the side and getting them absorbed, because why not? But yeah, I played the Bulldog a lot anyway to 3 market, which, like I say, I've got I think I've got 2 more videos after this before the 3rd mark, which are really good games in this tank. Like I say, it doesn't mean that it's a bad tank, because it's not. It's definitely a very good light tank. I don't think it's as good as it was back in the day when it was a Tier 7, and the Tier 7 had that 10-shot autoloader, which was gnarly. Again, I wasn't really a fan of the 10-shot because I preferred the shorter reload, but back then, I don't know, I probably have a tilted view of it, because back then I wasn't as good at the game as I am now, and I definitely underappreciated things that I would definitely love now. It's changing appetites basically for what you want in tanks, right? That's what it is. Changing times, changing how you feel about things. It happens with everything. But I imagine now I'd probably love that 10-shot autoloader that the Bulldog had, but back then I wasn't a fan of it, and I did prefer the single shot like we have now. And I had some of my biggest games in the Bulldog back then with that gun. So yeah, I think it's probably tinted really on that one. But anyway, like I say, it's not a bad tank. It has got great mobility. Obviously, it's fat, which doesn't help it. It's quite easy to hit in that way. But the gun generally does behave quite well, and the DPM's all right, which is okay. And obviously, the shell velocity on this APCR is also fantastic. It's just my big thing was always the fact that it only fired for 150. But it's great for getting the flanks, using bush cover and stuff like that, like most of the light tanks, and just harassing. Because that's what the Bulldog wants to do. It wants to harass the enemy team. It wants to make them sort of... You want to be like that buzzing fly, You pop up in loads of different places and pop multiple shots into people. What we've been doing on Fisherman's Bay is pretty much exactly that. We've been buzzing about. We've been taking up different positions, flanking around to different areas to get shots into people's sides, and just being a nuisance, basically. We've done that with good effect. Now, we've YOLO'd this Type 59-2, I'm kind of expecting him to get smacked by everyone else, and he does in the end, luckily enough. It looked to me for a moment like no one was going to shoot him and I was going to end up on the receiving end of another 105 shell, which would have ended my day greatly. But unfortunately, fortunately enough, we shut him down. And now there's a Patriot and a Bellerophon over there. Now they're both very awkward things to pen, especially with only 175 pen, because the upper plate of the Bellerophon will bounce on most of the time. Same as the Patriot. And the lower plate, really, of the Patriot will bounce on. We need their sides, really, to pen them guaranteed. The lower plate of the Bellerophon we might go through, but it's a risky one. Because it is a Centurion variant, right? And you're thinking, well, Centurion, squishy upper plate. No, Bellerophon, Centurion Mark 5.1, have that 120mm upper plate, really well angled, and it means it's very, very good. It surprises you, actually, how much better it is, generally. But unfortunately, we poked the bear, we couldn't quite get up to get another shot, and we get shut down. And I was sort of... The reason I poked up there was because I was thinking, these guys are going to die dead quick. I want to see if I can just be cheeky and get another shot or two of damage. And unfortunately, when I poked up, the Bellerophon looked at me and went, lunch! And munched on me, which is not good. You know, you don't want that. So I ended the game with a high caliber ace tanker, Confederate, 3.5k damage, only 3.6, 1,700 assistance, 1,900 base, and 3 kills. And like I say, you know, the Bulldog is a good tank, and I'd always recommend going to it, especially since it leads to the T49, which is incredible fun. Obviously, it's got the T49 itself has got a 90mm that's fantastic, and it's got a 152, which, I mean, I love derp guns, so derp gun, derp. And then you've got the Sheridan after it, which, you know, the Sheridan is a fantastic light tank. It's a very, very good tank to run around in. And again, you've got the choice of the 152 and the 105. The 105 is definitely better, but memes. And generally as well, the fact that, you know, I wouldn't have thought about it before Derp Diggler, but the T71 CMCD as well is also a fantastically fun light tank. I didn't expect it to be as much fun as it was. It's incredible fun to play. You run around in at tier 7. And then obviously you've got the other tanks like the T37 and the Chaffee. So the whole Bulldog line, the whole Sheridan line, it's just a fantastic light tank line to go down, because it's just a great set of jack-of-all-trades light tanks, and that is really good. And it's probably a very good line to learn how to play. You know, it's definitely less awkward to play than, say, the Chinese lights, which are definitely awkward, because they don't shine in many ways for most of them. And it's not like the French line, which is all autoloaders, and they teach you a very different style of play to what most of the light tanks have, and that's what the American light tanks do well at. So we're on Duckler Pass, and we are assaulting. No, we're assaulting? No, we're defending an assault. And I've decided to push aggressively down this flank, because we spotted that there wasn't too much going off down here. And it does tend to happen that a lot spawns at 2, so they will attack that flank, and you will have free reign to attack down here. And I wanted to get an awkward angle on this Tiger 2 and just be, again, that little gnat that's there being annoying. And we managed to shut down that Tiger 2. And again, we're just helping by being in a flanking position. So we've got shots on this T28 now, who would normally be quite awkward, but we'll get some nice shots into his side because he was tracked, he couldn't adjust. So we get rid of him, and then we're going to move out now and going to see if we can get this other TD that was over here. And I am wary that there might be something at A5, A6, like we've just lit up. It's a Roger Dodger. But we're just going to keep moving, because obviously sitting still in a light tank is the death of it for the most part. Unless you get to a position like this, which we know we're covered from every range except for the Roger Dodger. So we thought, we'll chance it. We'll sit here, we'll see if we can pop some shots at him. Unfortunately, shells nowhere near him. But, you know, we didn't take any damage, so there's that. Now we've got this Emil, and he's really screwed, to be honest, because he's been YOLO'd by me and the T54. Unfortunately, the shell hit the upper plate and ricocheted. That was pretty unlucky. But he gets shut down, and we've pretty much cleared this flank. There's only the Roger Dodger over here. The 2 artillery are probably at F9. If not, they'll be at A0 by now. And we just want to deal with this guy. There might... I mean, there's 4 tanks spotted on the enemy team on the other flank, so there's probably 1 medium we're missing. So I'm quite worried that it might be up there. But I want to, again, get into another flanking position to attack this Roger Dodger. Because you see where the T-54 is going, right? You see where our heavy tanks are. They're going to attack it from the front. And if I'm attacking it from over here, say, it's most likely that he's going to turn to him. So what I'm doing is also looking to scout, make sure that the artillery isn't over here before I start harassing the Roger Dodger. And clearly the artillery isn't over here, they're over on the other side. So I've loaded heat rounds because the Roger Dodger will be awkward for us to pen. The E75 TS is quite an awkward tank to pen for guns with about 175 pen. With about 190 pen lower anyway. Because the whole upper plate, lower plate section is about 190mm effective if it's not using its gun depression on your own flat. It's one of those tanks that's awkward in the fact that you shoot it anywhere in the front when you've got about 200 pen or more, you can easily pen it. But because of the angles and stuff like that, if you've got lower than 190 pen, you're really going to struggle with it. So I loaded heat to deal with him, we got rid of him, he got yellowed by the T-54, and now there's just these guys on this flank. And I'm hunting to get behind these medium tanks, heavies, whatever they are, and hunt artillery. And look what we've found. It's a nest of piggies. Now we're focusing down the Batchat 15558 because of the autoloader. And we get rid of him, and now it's just the GUI. Come on, GUI. Just take it. Take it, my lord. Take it. I want the piggy. I want the bacon. Give me the bacon. Please, please, please. I want the bacon medal. And we get the bacon medal just like that. Lovely. We're on 5 kills. Again, look, we're on 5 kills and on 3.3k damage. We want the top gun now. There's only one guy left, and it's like, please, please, RNG, just give me a top gun now. You gave me the Pascuchas, you gave me the piggy medal, the second favourite piggy medal. Please give me this one. So we're going around on the T-44. Pop a shot, ricochet off his ass, unfortunately. We're now aiming to make sure, and yet he dodges. So we miss him, and he gets shut down by the T-54. Because we donked that shot, we really aimed. If we'd auto-aimed, funnily enough, if we'd auto-aimed that shot and the way he dodged to the left, we'd have probably actually shot him and not missed. But because we tried to aim it properly, we missed and we didn't get the top gun. But we get that 1800 base, 5 kills, 3.3k damage, and another nice game for the Bulldog in flanking style. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.